Fuso. Fuso was a citizen of Amegakure and the mother of Nagato. They lived during the Second Great Ninja War, and because of the village's geographical location, it became a battleground for the major nations. One fateful night, while the family was hiding, they encountered Konoha ninjas who were searching for supplies to continue the fight. In the chaos of war, killing was all too common. In a desperate situation, Fusō and Ise decided to distract the enemies to give Nagato a chance to escape. Unfortunately, the Konoha ninjas mistook them for enemy ninjas and quickly killed both of them. This event set off a crucial chain of reactions. Witnessing his parents' murder, Nagato accidentally awakened the Rinnegan, the legendary eyes in the ninja world. In a fit of rage and grief, he killed the two Konoha ninjas and then buried his parents before beginning a new chapter in his life. The deaths of Fusō and Ise became a pivotal turning point in Nagato's life. For him, it was not just a personal loss. He also saw Konoha's ideals of peace as hypocritical, a peace built on the sacrifices of others, even innocent people. This event profoundly influenced Nagato's later views and actions, shaping the character of Pain Nagato that we know. Fusō's final decision demonstrated a mother's instinct to protect her child. Now, let's shift to another remarkable mother from the Uzumaki clan, Kushina. Kushina Uzumaki was Naruto's mother, and the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki before him. She was hot-tempered and incredibly strong. Remember when Naruto asked her how she met his dad? In that brief conversation, she shared that many kids used to tease and bully her because of her red hair and round face. When Naruto eagerly assumed that his dad had protected her from the bullies, she corrected him, proudly saying she had nearly beaten them to death herself. Things changed when she was kidnapped by ninjas from the village hidden in the clouds, Amegakure. They wanted to exploit her special chakra to control the Nine-Tails. During her capture, Kushina left strands of her red hair along the path as a trail, hoping someone would find and rescue her. Eventually, Minato Namikaze did just that, rescuing her and forging a special bond between them. Well, even the fiercest kunoichi can soften for the one they love. Members of the Uzumaki clan were blessed with extraordinary vitality, giving Kushina immense chakra reserves and a powerful life force. Even by Uzumaki standards, Kushina's traits were exceptionally strong. Her chakra was so powerful that it made her an ideal Jinchuriki for the Nine-Tails. When a Jinchuriki has their tailed beast extracted, they typically die. Even Naruto would have, if not for Sakura's intervention. But Kushina, after having the Nine-Tails ripped from her right after giving birth, not only survived, but was still able to fight fiercely. She used the adamantine sealing chains, incredibly strong chains capable of creating a barrier that restrained both the yin and yang parts of the Nine-Tails, significantly aiding Minato on the battlefield despite her exhaustion. As an Uzumaki, she possessed remarkable talent and deep knowledge of Fuinjutsu, the art of sealing, which she later taught Minato. In fact, the dead demon consuming seal that Minato used was something Kushina had taught him. Itachi once mentioned that Minato becoming the fourth Hokage was partly thanks to her support. Kushina was also skilled in 3 nature transformations: wind release, water release, and yin release. Karin assisted Orochimaru in his experiments and was tasked with managing the prison in his southern hideout when he was away. After Sasuke killed Orochimaru, he recruited Karin into his team. Of course, it was because she was useful. Karin possesses a special ability called the Mind's Eye of Kagura. This technique allows her to sense and track other people's chakra from great distances, helping her accurately detect both enemies and allies. Sasuke mentioned that Karin's sensory abilities are unique. She can detect chakra effortlessly. She can also gauge the size and strength of a chakra source, and even tell when someone is lying because dishonesty changes their chakra. Interestingly, when Karin first met Naruto, she could sense that his chakra was warm, in stark contrast to Sasuke's. As a direct descendant of the Uzumaki clan, Karin has immense vitality, giving her a massive chakra reserve. This natural vitality also grants her powerful healing abilities. She can heal others by letting them bite her. Sasuke has done this quite a few times. In fact, she can also heal herself by biting her own arm, consuming some of her chakra, and instantly recovering. During the 4th Ninja War, Karin was stabbed so badly in the stomach by Obito, a wound that would have been fatal for an ordinary person. Yet, she simply bit her own hand, and her body healed almost instantly. No wonder her body is covered in bite marks. In this same battle, Karin awakened an incomplete version of the adamantine sealing chains. However, instead of using them for sealing or creating barriers, she wielded these massive chains in combat to destroy Tobi's giant wooden statue along with its arms. Karin is quite intelligent. With her vast knowledge, she can devise brilliant strategies that are invaluable in missions. When Konoha shinobi were tracking them, she quickly realized they were following Sasuke's scent. Karin also quickly grasped the basic principles of complex techniques like Izanagi. She's definitely a valuable support ninja, isn't she? Nagato. Nagato, also known as Pain, is an iconic character in Naruto. Along with his two best friends, Yahiko and Konan, Nagato founded the Akatsuki, determined to use any means necessary to force the world into peace. He is the strongest member of the organization. Nagato had the technique Rain Tiger at Will, which allowed him to create continuous rain to monitor every movement in Amegakure. Being a member of the Uzumaki clan, he was chosen by Madara to have the Rinnegan implanted. You know, not just anyone can handle the Rinnegan. His immense power largely came from these eyes. Thanks to his Uzumaki lineage, Nagato could use both eyes without any difficulties. Even as a child, he used these eyes to kill the people who murdered his family that night. These eyes earned him recognition as the third sage of the Six Paths, following Hagoromo Otsutsuki and Madara Uchiha. When Nagato, Yahiko, and Konan were young and leading the original Akatsuki, Hanzo allied with Danzo Shimura to destroy them, seeing the group as a threat to their power. Hanzo captured Konan and forced Nagato to choose between killing Yahiko or letting Konan die. Yahiko sacrificed himself to save Konan, plunging Nagato into despair and rage. Using his Rinnegan, Nagato summoned the Geto statue, which attacked Hanzo and his forces. The Geto statue stripped the souls from everyone in Hanzo's team, leaving only Hanzo to escape. After this battle, Nagato's legs were crippled, but he continued to fight using the 6 paths of pain. With these 6 bodies, he defeated Hanzo, overcame his former master Jiraiya, and even destroyed the Leaf Village with just one path, the Deva path. After devastating the Leaf Village and taking many lives, Nagato used the outer path to revive those who had died, a power that controls life and death. I've made a detailed video about the specific abilities of the 6 paths of pain, so feel free to check it out on my channel if you're interested. Nagato's strength wasn't only displayed in his battles with Jiraiya and Naruto. After being resurrected by Edo Tensei during the 4th Great Ninja War and absorbing chakra from Killer Bee, his mobility improved slightly. Even with weakened legs, Nagato easily overpowered and neutralized both the 8 Tails and 9 Tails Jinchuriki. Despite having only one body, he could still use the full power of the 6 paths. Although his combat effectiveness was somewhat diminished due to Kabuto directly controlling him, it still took the combined efforts of Naruto, Killer Bee, and Itachi Uchiha to defeat and seal him. Ashina. Ashina Uzumaki was the leader of the Uzumaki clan. Although he didn't appear much, there was one notable event recorded in the anime where he led his clan to work with Hashirama and the Senju clan to deal with a giant beast rampaging through the land. When the beast was cornered, Ashina showed his extraordinary talent by successfully sealing it in an instant, proving his skilled expertise in sealing techniques. According to the databook, Ashina was considered a master of Fuinjutsu, unmatched by anyone else. He was even honored as the father of the sealing art in Konoha. This not only highlighted his advanced abilities, but also reflected the Uzumaki clan's deep influence on the development of ninja techniques in Konoha. Ashina was often seen carrying 2 swords on his back, so it's likely that, in addition to his sealing abilities, he was also skilled in swordsmanship. Therefore, it can be inferred that Ashina was a well-rounded warrior, not only skilled in sealing techniques, but also proficient in close combat. Mito Uzumaki. Mito Uzumaki was an outstanding kunoichi from the famous Uzumaki clan of Uzushiogakure. Her life took a significant turn when she moved to Konohagakure and married Hashirama Senju, the first Hokage of the village. This marriage not only symbolized a powerful alliance, but also laid the foundation for Mito's huge role in the village's history. After the legendary battle at the Valley of the End, she became the first Jinchuriki of the 9 Tails, Kawarama, and the first Jinchuriki not of the Otsutsuki clan. While detailed records of her fighting abilities are scarce, Mito's reputation as a formidable kunoichi is reinforced by praise from Kushina Uzumaki. As a member of the Uzumaki clan, Mito possessed exceptional sealing techniques, Fuinjutsu. As a Jinchuriki, Mito's already impressive chakra increased significantly, granting her extraordinary power. Moreover, her long lifespan serves as proof of the Uzumaki clan's legacy. She lived through the era of the first 3 Hokage, an incredible period that shows not only the famous longevity of the clan, but also Mito's long-lasting influence on the history of the village. Even in her old age, she retained her vitality, as seen in her hair that still maintained its color. She also discovered that the key to overcoming the overwhelming negative emotions of the beast was love. This brought a new approach to managing the burden of being a Jinchuriki. She passed this understanding on to Kushina Uzumaki, who later became a Jinchuriki herself. Then, with his own compassionate optimism, Naruto was able to make friends with the Ninetales. Naruto. And here is our main character, Naruto Uzumaki. I've mentioned Naruto a few times in my previous videos, and since he truly deserves his own dedicated video, I'll keep this part brief. When Naruto was a child, he declared that he would become Hokage. Well, many people want to become Hokage. However, not many can actually achieve it, and many have sacrificed their lives before reaching that goal, like Dan, Nawaki, and even Obito. In Naruto's case, it became a reality. He went from constantly failing the academy exams as a child to being called the strongest shinobi in history. An incredibly impressive journey. As an Uzumaki, a reincarnation of Asura Otsutsuki, and a Jinchuriki of Kawarama, Naruto possesses an immense amount of chakra. His own chakra alone is 4 times greater than Kakashi's, and when you add half of Kawarama's chakra, it becomes about 100 times stronger than Kakashi's. Well, with his compassionate and optimistic spirit, he built a very close relationship with Kawarama, allowing him to freely borrow chakra from the Ninetales. Furthermore, during the 4th Great Ninja War, he received chakra from all the tailed beasts and the Sage of 6 Paths. Truly overpowered. Naruto can now use all 5 basic nature transformations and yin-yang release. Some of his most remarkable abilities include an extreme number of shadow clones, every variation of Rasengan you can imagine, including the S-rank wind release, Rasen Shuriken. After his final battle with Sasuke at the Valley of the End, Naruto even got a prosthetic arm made from Hashirama's cells. This means, theoretically, he could use wood release. A truly powerful ninja. Personally, I highly appreciate Sexy no Jutsu and its variations. To me, this is Naruto's most iconic technique. Very few people can resist its influence. Thanks to this technique, he knocked out the 3rd Hokage and took the Forbidden Scroll of the Hidden Leaf, which allowed him to learn Kagebushin no Jutsu, his first forbidden technique. This same technique also helped Naruto land a punch on Kaguya while she could barely touch him. Boruto. Boruto Uzumaki, Naruto's son, even has the potential to be stronger than his father. He inherited the blessings of the Uzumaki bloodline from the Hidden Leaf village and is a direct descendant of the Hyuga clan through his mother. Unlike his father, Boruto is a genius from the start. During the Chunin exams, Kakashi recognized his extraordinary talent. Not only does he stand out among his peers, but Boruto also demonstrated abilities at the Chunin level. An impressive achievement for his age. Genetically, Boruto inherited the best traits from both his parents. Like Naruto, he has an abundant chakra supply and excellent chakra control. He can perform hand seals with just one hand, a skill that even many adult ninjas find difficult to master. In terms of fighting style, Boruto is skilled in many of his father's jutsu, such as Kagebunshin, Shadow Clone, Rasengan, with a unique variant that can disappear, and even Sexy Jutsu, a technique that effectively distracts opponents. Under Sasuke's guidance, Boruto has developed his Shuriken Jutsu to the point where he can cover thrown weapons with lightning chakra, and he can even summon the giant snake Garaga, abilities that are characteristic of Sasuke. Lightning release is his chakra nature, but he can also use wind release, partly inherited from his father Naruto, and water release as well. However, what truly makes Boruto unique is the presence of Karma and Jogan. Karma, a seal containing a copy of Momoshiki Otsutsuki, grants Boruto access to the power of a race considered godlike in the ninja world. When activated, Karma not only enhances all of Boruto's abilities, but also allows him to absorb ninjutsu and create space-time portals when combined with another Karma user. Jogen, Boruto's special eye, is a mysterious yet incredibly powerful ability. It allows him to see and analyze chakra on a deeper level than the Hyuga clan's Byakugan, detecting hidden dangers and even seeing the connections between different dimensions. This makes it a highly effective tool for both offense and defense, especially when facing strong enemies. However, this power comes with risks. Just like how the Nine Tails once controlled Naruto, Momoshiki's consciousness within Karma can take over Boruto's body if he is pushed to the brink. Pretty powerful, right? Boruto's strength, and really the strength of all the characters in Boruto, has sparked controversy because they gained such immense power so early in the series. While many abilities that the previous generation had to work hard to master, the Boruto generation either inherited or awakened, making their development feel unrealistic. However, the storyline has improved a lot now, and everything seems to be heading in a better direction. Himawari. Himawari is Boruto's younger sister, 2 years younger than him. Like her brother, she is blessed with both Uzumaki and Hyuga bloodlines. Even as a child, Himawari displayed exceptional potential compared to her peers. Before even starting her official ninja training, she amazed everyone with her powerful abilities. She was born with blue eyes like her father and awakened her Byakugan when her stuffed bear was torn. She gave her father a punch so strong that even Kawarama felt the pain. With Byakugan, she can observe nearly the entire surrounding space with a 360-degree view, see through solid objects, and identify the chakra of her opponents. She can activate Byakugan when her emotions run high, but as she grows older, she has learned to control and use this power with increasing accuracy, integrating it into her combat. Himawari displayed an impressive ability to control chakra from a young age. This ability allowed her to master challenging skills like the tree climbing exercise on her first attempt, though she only failed due to a lack of focus. It also enabled her to complete demanding exercises that ordinary ninjas typically need long periods of practice to master. In terms of combat skills, Himawari proved herself to be a strong warrior. She is highly skilled in shuriken jutsu and can easily hit targets without much effort. Along with her brother Boruto, she practiced various strategies and developed her combat abilities, from basic techniques to more complex ones. One of her special abilities is the ability to control her hair, turning it into flexible tentacles that can attack opponents with great strength and precision. After Kurama's death, he was reborn and chose Himawari as his new Jinchuriki. This happened because of the special compatibility between Himawari and Kurama, thanks to the powerful legacy from both the Uzumaki and Hyuga bloodlines. When she became a Jinchuriki, Himawari's strength exceeded what anyone could imagine. The Nine Tails rebirth within her granted her an immense amount of chakra and extraordinary power. Demon, one of the strongest characters, commented that Himawari was not like an ordinary Jinchuriki, as she almost possessed the power of a true tailed beast. Even though she had just started using this power, she was able to face and temporarily overpower Jura, forcing him to get serious in order to defeat her. When she releases the Nine Tails power, her eyes turn red with slit pupils. Her hair grows long and thick, forming 9 tails. Her strength skyrockets, allowing her to heal wounds quickly and powerfully, just like Naruto did in the past. Thanks to the cooperation between Himawari and Kurama, she can control this enormous power without facing severe health problems. She can even heal others, a skill not all Jinchuriki can achieve. However, healing herself too much could drain her energy. Himawari Uzumaki, with the combination of the legacy from 2 legendary clans and the overwhelming strength from the Nine Tails, is undoubtedly one of the standout ninjas of the new generation. With untapped potential, her future is full of promise, and if she continues to grow, no one can predict the strength she will reach in the future. Hashirama. Hashirama Senju, known as the first Hokage and hailed as the god of shinobi, was the most powerful figure of his era. As the head of the Senju clan, he played a central role in ending the constant wars between ninja clans. His vision of peace led to the formation of the Hidden Leaf Village, which he co-founded with his childhood rival, Madara Uchiha. Hashirama's leadership became the foundation of the shinobi world's first organized system, where children could grow and train away from constant conflict. This marked the beginning of a new age. Hashirama's strength came from his unique ability to use wood release, Mokuton, a Kekkei Genkai that combined earth and water chakra natures. This technique allowed him to create forests, control terrain, and most importantly, suppress the chakra of tailed beasts. He could restrain creatures as powerful as the Nine Tails without needing external help. His wood release was not just a tool for battle, it was also used to build the very structures of Konoha, blending power with creation. Another reason for Hashirama's dominance was his Sage mode. By drawing natural energy into his body, Hashirama could drastically enhance his physical abilities, perception, and durability. His version of Sage mode was completely balanced, allowing him to fight for long periods while maintaining his strength. When combined with his wood release, Sage mode turned Hashirama into an unmatched force, capable of taking on multiple tailed beasts at once. Hashirama's chakra reserves were enormous. He could heal from injuries without weaving hand signs, a trait no one else in his generation shared. This natural regeneration made him almost impossible to wear down in prolonged battles. His stamina and recovery allowed him to face Madara Uchiha repeatedly, even when Madara used the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan and the power of the Nine Tails. The influence of Hashirama's DNA extended long after his death. Scientists like Orochimaru and Danzo use samples of his cells to enhance their own power or create new weapons, such as artificial wood release users and the White Zetsu army. His body became the foundation for various forbidden experiments throughout the series. Characters like Yamato, who was created using Hashirama's cells, show how valuable and dangerous his genetic legacy is. Hashirama also formed a political alliance through his marriage to Mito Uzumaki. The Uzumaki clan was known for their massive chakra and sealing techniques. Mito became the first Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails, sealing the beast within herself using a powerful Uzumaki Fuinjutsu. This union between Senju and Uzumaki created a bloodline of exceptional strength and vitality, eventually producing descendants like Tsunade. Hashirama's role as a symbol of peace was deeply tied to his belief in unity. He dreamed of a world where children no longer needed to fight on battlefields. Even after his death, his ideals continued through the Will of Fire, a philosophy passed on by future Hokage. This ideology shaped the structure of the Hidden Leaf and influenced how leaders protected the village and its people. Hashirama was more than a warrior. He was a builder, both of villages and of values. His rivalry with Madara was not just personal, it represented two conflicting ideologies: peace through cooperation versus peace through control. When Madara rejected Hashirama's dream and tried to use the power of the Uchiha to dominate the village, the two clashed in the Valley of the End. This battle ended with Hashirama's victory and the presumed death of Madara, though the consequences of their conflict echoed for generations. Tobirama Senju, the second Hokage and younger brother of Hashirama, was a master of both power and policy. While Hashirama dreamed of peace, Tobirama worked on building systems to make that peace sustainable. After his brother's death, he assumed the position of Hokage and continued the development of the Hidden Leaf Village with a pragmatic, sometimes cold mindset. He was less idealistic than Hashirama, but no less committed to protecting the village. Tobirama's strength as a leader came not only from his powerful jutsu, but from his deep understanding of how a shinobi society should function. Tobirama was the most skilled water release user of his time. Unlike most shinobi, he didn't need a nearby water source to perform water-based techniques. His chakra control allowed him to generate water out of nothing, creating large-scale attacks in any environment. Techniques like Water Dragon Bullet and Water Wall became more than just tools. They were tactical responses crafted for any battlefield. Tobirama elevated water release into an art of versatility and efficiency. However, His most famous technique is the Flying Thunder God, Hiraishin no Jutsu. This space-time ninjutsu allowed him to teleport instantly to any location marked by his seal. Unlike simple speed-based movement, this technique made Tobirama impossible to predict in combat. He could strike from any angle, retreat from danger, or launch surprise attacks within fractions of a second. This jutsu became the foundation of modern teleportation techniques, later used and refined by Minato Namikaze, the fourth Hokage. Tobirama also created Edo Tensei, the reanimation jutsu. With this forbidden technique, he could bring the dead back to life using a living sacrifice, allowing him to control powerful warriors from the past. This jutsu was designed for war, not resurrection, and it gave Tobirama a way to overwhelm enemies using sheer numbers and immortal fighters. While Orochimaru and Kabuto would later expand and perfect this technique, its origins lie with Tobirama's cold, tactical approach to warfare. Beyond combat, Tobirama made lasting structural reforms. He founded the Ninja Academy, setting a standard system for training young shinobi. This allowed children to learn safely, instead of growing up on battlefields like he and Hashirama did. He also established the Anbu, an elite black ops division responsible for covert missions, assassinations, and village security. The creation of the Konoha military police force was also his doing, though controversially, he assigned this role to the Uchiha clan. While this gave the Uchiha a position of authority, it also served to isolate and monitor them. Tobirama believed in balancing power, even if it meant making political decisions that bred resentment. Tobirama's relationship with the Uchiha was one of caution. Having fought them during the Warring States period, he viewed their emotional volatility and Sharingan as dangerous. Though he respected their strength, he always kept a strategic distance. His policies contributed to the eventual divide between the Uchiha and the rest of the village. While some viewed his actions as discriminatory, Tobirama claimed his decisions were about protecting the village, not targeting a specific clan. Despite his harsh methods, Tobirama passed on leadership to a student he trusted, Hiruzen Sarutobi. This decision showed Tobirama's belief in merit and vision over bloodline. He wanted someone who could balance power with wisdom, a leader capable of guiding the village into the next generation. Even in his final moments, Tobirama sacrificed himself to save his team during a mission, proving that his loyalty to the village came before everything else. Itama Senju was the middle brother among Hashirama, Tobirama, and Kawarama. His story isn't about legendary power or groundbreaking jutsu, but about the emotional cost of war in the Warring States era. He lived and died during one of the most brutal periods in shinobi history, a time when children were forced to fight on the front lines, and clans like Senju and Uchiha fought endlessly over land, pride, and survival. Itama's death was not only a personal loss to Hashirama, it became a turning point in the Senju legacy. Itama represents a generation of young shinobi who never had the chance to grow up. Like his brothers, he was born into a world of violence. Despite being just a child, he carried the burden of clan duty. He was expected to kill, survive, and uphold the honor of the Senju name. But during a mission against the Uchiha, he was ambushed and killed. His body left on the battlefield like many other nameless victims of the era. We are not shown his abilities, nor are there records of his techniques. However, as a member of the Senju bloodline, Itama likely inherited strong chakra reserves and had the potential to master advanced ninjutsu. His death at a young age meant that this potential was never realized, and his name faded into the background of shinobi history. But within his family, and especially to Hashirama, his loss was unforgettable. What makes Itama important isn't what he did in battle, but how his death affected those who survived. Hashirama, already weary of war, began to question the endless cycle of revenge and bloodshed. Watching his younger brother fall to a conflict driven by clan pride pushed him further toward his dream of peace. Kawarama Kawarama Senju was the youngest of the Senju brothers, and also the first among them to die in the chaos of the Warring States era. He appeared only briefly in a flashback, but his death left a lasting imprint on the early philosophy of the Senju clan's future leader, Hashirama. Kawarama's short life reflected the brutal reality of his time, a period when even children were expected to fight and die for their clan. He was only about 7 years old when he was sent into battle. Like many children born into powerful shinobi families, Kawarama didn't get a chance to experience peace or stability. His death came during a skirmish with one of the Senju clan's rival families. The scene is not depicted in detail, but the emotional fallout was significant. Kawarama's body is shown being brought back to the Senju compound, wrapped in cloth, another casualty in a war that spared no one. Not even the youngest. No jutsu, no feats, and no battles are recorded for Kawarama. But as a direct descendant of the Senju bloodline, he undoubtedly held great potential. His genetics alone, coming from the same lineage as Hashirama and Tobirama, suggests that he may have gone on to become a capable shinobi. However, that potential was never allowed to grow. What matters more than his combat ability is the reaction his death triggered within the Senju household. The emotional weight of Kawarama's death sparked a major conflict between Hashirama and their father, Butsuma Senju. Hashirama, already questioning the ethics of child soldiers, confronted Butsuma about the morality of sending children to die. This was one of the earliest signs that Hashirama was beginning to reject the old ways of clan warfare. Kawarama's sacrifice became a symbol of what needed to change, a reason to move away from senseless violence and toward the possibility of peace. Butsuma Senju was the father of Hashirama, Tobirama, Itama, and Kawarama, and the leader of the Senju clan during the brutal Warring States era. He appeared briefly in the flashbacks shown in manga chapters 622 to 624 and in Naruto Shippuden episode 368. As a character, Butsuma represents the old world of shinobi, one where strength, strategy, and sacrifice were the only paths to survival. Although his specific abilities were never shown in detail, Butsuma was clearly a powerful and capable ninja. Leading one of the most feared clans of the time required both combat strength and ruthless decision-making. He coordinated battles against the Uchiha and other rival clans, and raised his sons under the harsh principles of war. In a time when shinobi clans were mercenary families hired to kill for contracts, Butsuma's worldview was shaped entirely by survival and dominance. One of Butsuma's defining moments came during the missions where he brought his young sons onto the battlefield. His decision to involve Kawarama and Itama in real combat missions showed how deeply embedded the culture of violence was in his leadership. When Kawarama died, Butsuma did not show regret. Instead, he viewed the loss as an expected price of war. This sparked conflict with Hashirama, who began to question the legitimacy of the cycle of hatred and bloodshed. But Butsuma was not portrayed as evil. His actions came from necessity, shaped by the era. Butsuma believed in preparation and power. He also demonstrated moments of strategic thinking. In one key scene, he sent Tobirama to flank Madara Uchiha during a battle, showing trust in Tobirama's skill and judgment. This small act hinted at his tactical experience, even if it lacked emotional warmth. Tsunade, the fifth Hokage of the Hidden Leaf Village, stood as one of the most influential descendants of the Senju clan. As the granddaughter of Hashirama Senju, she inherited both the bloodline's natural strength and the legacy of leadership. Her rise to power came at a time when the village was in deep crisis. Following the deaths of the third Hokage and the invasion of Konoha by Orochimaru, it was Tsunade who stepped forward and stabilized the village with both her medical expertise and unshakable will. Known as the legendary Sucker and one of the legendary Sannin alongside Jiraiya and Orochimaru, Tsunade's strength came from both her combat ability and her unmatched medical skills. She revolutionized the role of medical ninja in warfare. Her teachings led to the standardization of having a medical nin on every shinobi squad, drastically reducing casualties across future battles. Her personal healing technique, the Creation Rebirth, Strength of 100 Seal, allowed her to regenerate damage almost instantly by releasing stored chakra from the seal on her forehead. This made her nearly impossible to kill in combat unless defeated in a single, overwhelming blow. Beyond her medical ninjutsu, Tsunade also possessed extreme physical strength. With a single punch, she could fracture the ground or launch massive summons like Katsuyu with ease. Her raw power was a clear product of her Senju bloodline, but she refined it through chakra control rather than brute force alone. She used precision strikes that maximized damage with minimum effort, demonstrating a balance between raw might and technical skill. Her influence extended far beyond the battlefield. Tsunade was the mentor to Sakura Haruno, passing down her medical knowledge and physical training. This ensured that the medical legacy of the Senju would continue into the next generation. During her tenure as Hokage, Tsunade also invested in rebuilding Konoha's infrastructure, reinforcing the importance of support systems over sheer military power. Nawaki, the younger brother of Tsunade and grandnephew of Hashirama Senju, was a symbol of youthful ambition within the Senju lineage. Born into a time when the scars of the past were still fresh, but the ideals of peace were taking form, Nawaki embodied the will of fire in its most innocent form. His dream was simple but profound: to become Hokage and protect the village, just like his legendary ancestor. Despite his young age, Nawaki showed traits typical of the Senju clan: bravery, conviction, and an innate sense of duty. While his specific abilities and jutsu were never documented, his heritage alone suggested great potential. With the blood of Hashirama flowing through him and Tsunade as his sister, Nawaki stood at the intersection of expectation and hope. He was a young shinobi, driven not by personal gain, but by a deep desire to serve and protect. Nawaki was killed during a mission when a trap exploded, a casualty of the harsh realities of the ninja world. He died before ever getting the chance to prove himself in battle. His passing left a deep scar on Tsunade, who had given him her grandfather's necklace, a symbol of her belief in his dream and potential. That same necklace would later be given to Dan, and eventually Naruto, tying Nawaki's legacy into a larger chain of inherited will. Nawaki's death was not just a personal tragedy, it represented the fragility of hope in a world dominated by war and loss. For Tsunade, it became a turning point. She began to doubt the path of the shinobi and the role of Hokage itself. The loss of Nawaki, and later Dan, pushed her into years of isolation and bitterness. But ultimately, his dream would live on, shaping her actions and perspective once she accepted the Hokage mantle herself. Toka Senju represents one of the lesser-known yet intriguing figures of the Senju clan. While her appearances are confined to data books and extended materials rather than the core manga or anime, her inclusion serves a specific purpose: to show that the Senju legacy was not defined solely by brute strength or elemental dominance. She lived during the same era as Hashirama and Tobirama, marking her as a contemporary of the clan's golden age. Though her exact familial connection to Hashirama and Tobirama remains undefined, it's clear she was a trusted and capable shinobi within the clan. Her most distinctive trait lies in her mastery of genjutsu, a rare skill among senju, who were generally known for their proficiency in ninjutsu and physical prowess. This deviation in specialization allowed Toka to stand out, suggesting that the clan possessed a broader spectrum of talents than typically portrayed. In a period dominated by raw chakra power and large-scale confrontations, the effectiveness of genjutsu reflected both strategic finesse and psychological insight. Toka's proficiency in this field positioned her as a counterbalance to the physically dominant shinobi of her era. While details of her battles are not recorded, she is acknowledged as someone capable of going toe-to-toe with high-level ninja of her time, a notable feat considering the caliber of her peers. Mito Uzumaki holds a critical yet often understated position in the lineage and legacy of the Senju clan. Though born into the Uzumaki clan, her marriage to Hashirama Senju formed one of the most significant political and spiritual alliances in shinobi history. Through this union, the Uzumaki and Senju clans, two families renowned for their extraordinary vitality, chakra, and sealing techniques, became deeply connected, both symbolically and strategically. Mito's most defining role was becoming the first Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails. This decision was not merely a tactical move, it was a necessity in the aftermath of Hashirama's battle against Kawarama. With the Nine Tails captured, Hashirama needed a vessel powerful enough to contain its immense chakra. Mito, a seasoned kunoichi of the Uzumaki, possessed the sealing arts and chakra resilience required for the task. Her ability to suppress the beast set a precedent for future Jinchuriki and marked the beginning of Konoha's control over tailed beasts. Mito managed to achieve a stable coexistence with the Nine Tails. Her guidance would later influence future generations, particularly Kushina Uzumaki, who inherited not only the same role, but also the method of emotional suppression Mito had developed. By channeling love and inner peace, Mito was able to hold Kurama without succumbing to hatred, a rare feat that reflected both her mental fortitude and deep understanding of chakra control. Though Mito was not a frontline combatant in the traditional sense, her presence in Konoha's formation was foundational. She brought with her the formidable sealing techniques of the Uzumaki, contributing an essential layer of defense and utility that the Senju lacked. Hyuga clan. The Hyuga clan stands among the four noble clans of the Hidden Leaf Village, serving as a foundational pillar of Konoha's elite power structure. Originating from Hamura Otsutsuki, the twin brother of the Sage of Six Paths, the Hyuga inherit a bloodline that ties them directly to the celestial roots of shinobi history. Their defining trait is the Byakugan, a dojutsu revered for its clarity, range, and utility in both combat and surveillance. The Byakugan grants nearly complete 360-degree vision, interrupted only by a minor blind spot at the upper thoracic vertebra. While this flaw may seem limiting, prodigies like Neji Hyuga learn to compensate by emitting chakra around their bodies to detect incoming threats, effectively eliminating the gap. This visual prowess enables Hyuga members to see through walls, barriers, and even underground terrain. More significantly, it reveals the chakra circulatory system and the 361 tenketsu points of any target, turning every battle into a matter of precision and timing. The range of the Byakugan evolves with the user's talent and training. The Hyuga clan's internal structure reinforces its unique techniques through a strict hierarchy between the main house and the branch house. To protect the secrets of the Byakugan, the branch members are marked with a cursed seal. This seal activates upon death, ensuring the Byakugan cannot be stolen, as seen during the attempted abduction of Hinata by Kamogakure's envoy. The incident forced the Hyuga to sacrifice a branch member to maintain peace and protect the dojutsu's integrity, revealing the deep-rooted consequences of their rigid traditions. Neji Hyuga. Neji Hyuga emerged as a rare phenomenon within the confines of the branch house system. Despite restrictions placed on him by both social status and the cursed seal, he became the youngest jonin of his generation. Recognized by the third Hokage as the greatest Hyuga genius in history, Neji's achievements were not the result of formal training. He learned most main house techniques by observation alone, defying the limitations imposed by clan hierarchy. His Byakugan usage was highly advanced. Unlike others who accepted the blind spot as a fixed weakness, Neji developed a method to counter it. By releasing chakra around his back and shoulders, he maintained awareness even in areas the eye could not physically reach. This elevated his battlefield control beyond most of his clan. Neji's gentle fist mastery included techniques that were historically reserved for main house heirs. His signature move, 8 trigrams 64 palms, used rapid successive strikes to shut down an opponent's chakra network. Later, he evolved this into the more advanced 128 palms. These attacks relied on exact knowledge of tenketsu location and chakra control. He also employed palm rotation, creating a spinning shield of expelled chakra that could deflect physical and chakra-based assaults. His vacuum palm technique gave him mid-range attack options, disrupting enemy formation or intercepting threats before they could close in. In terms of elemental ninjutsu, Neji possessed affinity with earth, fire, and water release, though his focus remained primarily on taijutsu and chakra control. His tactical thinking was often overlooked. During the mission to retrieve Sasuke, Neji adapted his strategies to counter Kimimura's unpredictable offense and displayed awareness of his own limits while still maintaining mission priority. His ultimate moment came during the Fourth Great Ninja War, where he sacrificed himself to protect both Naruto and Hinata. The act completed his arc, from a child bound by destiny to a shinobi who chose his own path and protected what mattered most. Hinata Hyuga. Hinata Hyuga's evolution represents a rare form of quiet strength that defied both clan expectations and societal labels. Originally dismissed as timid and unfit for leadership, Hinata was overshadowed by her younger sister, Hanabi, and nearly disowned by her father, Hiashi. Yet over time, she cultivated a resilience that transcended traditional Hyuga standards. Her development into a warrior recognized by Homura Otsutsuki himself marked a turning point in the clan's modern history. Hinata was not just another heir, she became the Byakugan Princess, a title bestowed upon her by divine lineage. Her Byakugan matured into one of the most refined forms ever recorded. It retained the standard tenketsu detection and 360-degree field of vision, but her precision sharpened over time. By adulthood, Hinata could pinpoint chakra disturbances even in high-pressure environments. In the Boruto era, she surpassed all previous clan benchmarks in range and accuracy. While earlier Hyuga prodigies like Neji operated within hundreds of meters, Hinata extended her range to over 20 kilometers. She could detect chakra usage and movement patterns without even activating her dojutsu, making her an invaluable sensor-type support in large-scale operations. Hinata's gentle fist arsenal reflected her steady and focused progression. She mastered the 8 trigrams 64 palms and displayed consistency in striking tenketsu with minimal wasted motion. Her combat style merged traditional Hyuga strikes with her own adaptations, most notably the twin lion fists. Unlike other chakra-based attacks, this technique condensed raw chakra into the form of twin lions, enhancing the damage on contact and directly draining an enemy's reserves. It required a high level of chakra molding and control, achieved only through rigorous training and mental clarity. She also developed synergy with the vacuum palm technique, using it in coordination with other allied attacks to break enemy formations. Her chakra nature affinities included fire and lightning release. Her most significant transformation came after receiving Homura Otsutsuki's chakra. This inheritance not only deepened her reserves, but also fortified her physical and sensory capabilities, placing her on a different tier compared to other Hyuga. Hinata's most defining moment came during the invasion of Pain. In an act that risked everything, she stood between Pain and Naruto, fully aware of the fatal consequences. The intervention catalyzed Naruto's emotional awakening and indirectly triggered the release of Kurama's power. Her motivations in that moment were rooted not in recklessness, but in conviction, setting her apart from other clan members who typically calculated every move. By the Boruto timeline, Hinata had surpassed her sister Hanabi, both in raw talent and in inherited legacy. While Hanabi trained extensively as the designated heir, Hinata's experience in war, exposure to Otsutsuki chakra, and emotional growth forged a more complete shinobi. Hiashi Hyuga. Hiyashi Hyuga represented the traditional foundation of the Hyuga clan. As the main house patriarch, he carried the responsibility of protecting both the clan's legacy and its bloodline secrets. His leadership style was strict, rooted in generational doctrine, but also adaptable in moments of necessity. Though often remembered for his cold demeanor in Hinata's early years, Hiyashi was a combat veteran who brought strategic depth and discipline to the clan during turbulent times. His Byakugan had exceptional range and clarity, capable of observing threats on a battlefield even at long distances. During the Fourth Great Ninja War, he used it to track the movements of the Ten Tails attacks, directing Hyuga defenses and coordinating allied responses. His perception extended beyond surveillance. He used it actively to identify chakra weaknesses and guide his gentle fist strikes with surgical accuracy. Hayashi's combat repertoire included several refined gentle fist techniques. His execution of palm rotation was sharp and efficient, offering a defense that minimized chakra waste while maximizing area coverage. He also used the airwall palm, a compressed chakra wave capable of deflecting large-scale attacks. One of his most notable demonstrations was his ability to repel a Ten Tails tail attack on his own, an act requiring both force and control, achieved by very few. His battlefield history added weight to his name. When Amegakure attempted to kidnap young Hinata, Hiyashi responded with decisive force, killing the head ninja responsible. Though this action sparked a political crisis, it underscored his readiness to defend the clan's sovereignty at all costs. Later, during Orochimaru's invasion, Hiyashi led the Hyuga forces with little resistance, overwhelming enemies through superior coordination and refined technique. Even at the age of 62, Hiyashi retained his combat effectiveness. His movements remained efficient, and his Byakugan showed no signs of regression. Hizashi Hyuga. In the shadows of Hyuga history, few figures are as quietly vital as Hizashi Hyuga, twin brother of Hiashi, but born into the branch house by mere seconds. Despite his identical genetics, Hizashi's fate was dictated not by ability, but by the rigid caste system embedded into Hyuga tradition. Yet, instead of falling into bitterness or rebellion, he chose loyalty, sacrifice, and silent strength. His role as protector was not ceremonial, it was spiritual. Hizashi became the embodiment of what it meant to uphold the clan's honor from beneath the spotlight. As a jonin of the branch house, Hizashi was trained in the same high-level Hyuga arts as his brother. His Byakugan retained the same range and clarity, capable of perceiving internal chakra flow and tenketsu with the precision expected of a mainline Hyuga. While his power was never formally compared in public, inter-clan records, and Hiyashi himself, admitted that Hizashi's abilities were near identical, and in some cases even sharper in execution. This was most evident in their childhood sparring sessions, where Hizashi once floored Hiyashi with a single well-timed gentle fist strike, albeit outside of full combat conditions. Among his gentle fist techniques, Hizashi mastered the palm rotation, a move rarely taught to branch house members at the time. This alone reflected not just technical mastery, but the trust the main house occasionally placed in him when circumstances demanded it. His form was clean, efficient, and purely defensive. He didn't waste movement. What made Hizashi lethal wasn't aggression,
but restraint, using minimal force to exploit maximum chakra disruption. But his greatest moment wasn't on a battlefield. After Hiashi killed the Kumogakure envoy, attempting to kidnap Hinata, the Land of Lightning demanded Hiyashi's life as reparation. Konoha nearly faced war. To preserve both village and clan stability, Hizashi made the ultimate decision to die in his brother's place. He volunteered without hesitation, knowing his cursed seal would ensure the clan's secrets died with him. In that act, Hizashi not only proved his love for Hiashi, but also shattered the notion that the branch house was inferior in courage or spirit. His sacrifice was immortalized years later when Kabuto reanimated him in the Fourth Great Ninja War. Fighting alongside his son Neji, Hizashi confronted the very prejudices that had defined his life. Even in undeath, his presence reminded both the clan and viewers that greatness isn't bound by hierarchy. It's earned through sacrifice and conviction. Hanabi Hyuga. If Hinata represents emotional strength born of perseverance, then Hanabi Hyuga is the other side of the same coin, a child born with raw talent and sharp instincts. From her earliest days, Hanabi was labeled a prodigy, surpassing her older sister in combat by the age of 7. She became the designated heir of the Hyuga clan before reaching double digits, a title she didn't just inherit, but earned. In a clan steeped in tradition, Hanabi's rise was meteoric and undeniable. Her Byakugan awakened early and developed rapidly. By the time of the last, Naruto the movie, Hanabi's perception had reached near Neji levels, an astonishing feat for someone so young. She could observe micro-movements in chakra flow, detect faint emotional fluctuations, and anticipate enemy attacks with surgical foresight. Her observational capacity wasn't just impressive, it was battle grade, used in real-time combat rather than just tracking. Hanabi's gentle fist techniques were drilled into her from childhood, and by her teenage years, she had already mastered key clan maneuvers. Her palm rotation was fluid and centered, creating a perfect defensive sphere that could rebound projectiles and suppress close-range attackers. She also wielded the vacuum palm with greater range than most adult Hyuga, and by the time she reached Jonin rank, she had full mastery over the 8 trigram 64 and even 128 palms, a level few Hyuga ever achieve. Though her early victory over Hinata as a child was used by the clan to justify succession decisions, in the Boruto series, Hanabi sparred with Boruto Uzumaki during his academy years, not with the intent to harm, but to teach. Despite Boruto's natural talent and unpredictable tactics, Hanabi overwhelmed him with ease, never breaking form or losing emotional control. That performance revealed just how far her skills had matured, and how she now served as a bridge between the Hyuga legacy and Konoha's next generation. Himawari Uzumaki. Don't let the soft voice and sunflower smiles fool you. Himawari Uzumaki may very well be one of the most naturally gifted descendants of the Hyuga clan. Born of Naruto's boundless chakra and Hinata's refined lineage, Himawari blends two titanic bloodlines into a form that is equal parts unpredictable and explosive. Her nickname among fans, the Silent Threat, feels entirely appropriate once you realize she activated the Byakugan at just 3 years old, without formal training. While most Hyuga must undergo rigorous, painful exercises to awaken their dojutsu, Himawari's Byakugan surfaced instinctively during an emotional outburst. And in that single moment of fury, she didn't just unleash chakra, she incapacitated Naruto Uzumaki, 7th Hokage and host of Kurama, with a gentle fist strike so accurate it shut down his chakra network completely. The sheer audacity of that feat, performed unintentionally, set the tone for Himawari's latent potential. By age 10, she had developed stable control over her Byakugan. Though not yet at full capacity, her chakra perception already allowed her to analyze opponents' movements and target tenketsu points with impressive accuracy. In combat drills, she displayed a level of finesse far beyond her years, calm under pressure, tactically observant, and capable of subduing even Chunin-level genin. In sparring with her brother Boruto, she not only held her ground, but frightened him more than once with her unpredictable bursts of power. Himawari has also begun integrating basic shinobi arts outside the traditional clan mold. She's proficient in shuriken jutsu, uses chakra for wall and tree adhesion, and maintains an internal chakra balance strong enough to pass the academy entrance tests with ease. While her gentle fist repertoire is still developing, her innate chakra control, thanks in part to her Uzumaki heritage, lets her strike with more force and depth than most genin. But perhaps the most chilling recognition of her potential came from Demon, one of the most powerful beings introduced in Boruto, Two Blue Vortex. Known for his instinctive ability to detect power levels, Demon casually noted that Himawari was strong, a comment he rarely makes lightly. This subtle acknowledgement implies that her true power is not only immense, but dangerous. Boruto Uzumaki. Boruto Uzumaki is a raw, refined power already unleashed. Boruto carries the burden of legacy, but also the power to redefine it. He is a living hybrid of the Hyuga, Uzumaki, and Otsutsuki bloodlines, a convergence that manifests most uniquely in his mysterious Jugan, and most explosively in his Karma Seal. Though he doesn't possess the traditional Byakugan, Boruto's Jougen Eye serves as a spiritual successor, an advanced dojutsu that can see chakra flow, detect dimensional tiers, and sense malice. Functionally, it mirrors and in some ways exceeds the scope of the Byakugan, especially when reacting to foreign chakra or interdimensional activity. Its precise origin remains unexplained, but its presence solidifies Boruto's connection to the Hyuga and Otsutsuki legacy alike. Boruto's combat aptitude was evident early. Even before gaining karma, he demonstrated proficiency in lightning, wind, and water release, and developed his own variations of the Rasengan, including the Vanishing Rasengan and Compression Rasengan. His use of clones, shuriken jutsu, and elemental combos put him on par with most Chunin by the time he entered the academy. But everything changed when he was marked with karma by Momoshiki Otsutsuki. The seal not only granted him access to space-time manipulation, high-speed regeneration, and enhanced reflexes, it also turned him into an Otsutsuki vessel. In battles like the one against Boruto demonstrated control and power levels equivalent to a jonin, using karma-enhanced taijutsu and ninjutsu to dismantle an opponent even the 7th Hokage struggled to contain. Hinata's mother. She remains unnamed and unseen in the manga, but Hinata's mother, introduced only in the anime, casts a long emotional shadow. In a clan shaped by rigidity, she was the rare example of gentle strength, a nurturing presence who influenced Hinata's character far more than the cold traditions of the main house. As Hyashi's wife, she likely possessed standard Byakugan capabilities, trained in perception, chakra targeting, and gentle fist techniques. Though never shown fighting, her status within the main house suggests proficiency in the clan's foundational arts. Her strength lay not in combat, but in empathy. Hyuga Elder, long before Hiashi and Hizashi would define the next generation of Hyuga politics, the Hyuga Elder stood as the immovable center of the clan's hierarchy. Though never named in canon, his presence looms large as the former leader of the main house, the man who made the call that would brand Hizashi and secure the clan's future. His rule was defined by order, preservation, and obedience, values that sustained the Hyuga through centuries but left deep scars. Though his Byakugan abilities were never shown, it's safe to assume the Elder mastered standard chakra perception, telescopic vision, and tenketsu targeting, skills every main house jonin possessed. As patriarch, he would also have been the final authority on Hyuga clan techniques and may have wielded forbidden jutsu known only to the inner circle. But his real strength wasn't in combat. It was in doctrine. When the Cloud Village demanded Hayashi's corpse as reparations for their botched kidnapping of Hinata, the Elder made a decision that defined Hyuga politics for a generation. He ordered Hizashi to die in his brother's place, using the curse seal to maintain secrecy and compliance. This cold logic preserved peace, but at a soul-crushing cost. Hizashi went to his death smiling, while the Elder remained unmoved, firm in his belief that sacrifice was the price of stability. Mukai Kohinata. Mukai Kohinata stood as an outlier and a warning. A jonin with only partial Hyuga heritage, Mukai shattered expectations with his sheer skill, rising to elite status despite possessing just one Byakugan. This single eye, normally a mark of imperfection in the Hyuga's rigid traditions, became his secret weapon, hidden until activated, concealed beneath a forehead protector, and deployed only when necessary. It made him both mysterious and unpredictable. Mukai's Byakugan was fully functional, granting him the same chakra pathway vision and long-range perception typical of full-blooded Hyuga. But where most clan members leaned into tradition, Mukai deviated. He innovated the Gentle Fist, modifying chakra strikes to include split-flow attacks, techniques that forced chakra through an opponent's network in divergent streams, increasing internal damage. He also employed variants of the 8 trigram style, tailoring them to one-eyed perception and throwing off opponents who expected the standard rotation-based patterns. His greatest moment came when he faced off against not one, but 2 Uchiha prodigies, Itachi and Shisui. Both were known for their genius, but Mukai's ferocity and tactical aggression forced Shisui to use his Mangekyo Sharingan, a feat only a handful of shinobi have ever triggered in the famed Genjutsu Master. Though ultimately defeated, Mukai's performance became legend within Konoha's underground ranks, a Hyuga by blood, but a maverick by spirit. Thanks for watching till the end.